All right, welcome back to this 30 days of meditation. We are on day 15. So that is week 3. Amazing. So, as always, find yourself a comfortable place and let's get started. All right, so for week 3, we're going to move on to something a little bit different. Um, we're going to call it the direct approach, the direct way. So usually when we start a meditation practice, and what most people kind of encounter with meditation practices, of course, leaving thinking alone to the breath. That's a very common way of practicing. Now, of course, we explored different ways of leaving thinking alone, like listening or going to our eyes or our nose. As difficult as that may have been, we explored different options. But the direct path seeks to kind of basically investigate in a way that is completely honest about our experience. We want to become extraordinarily clear about what is really going on here. Like a couple of days ago and yesterday, we explored what it is like to just look at thoughts directly. We can spend all this time leaving thinking alone and trying to just notice the breath, but then what are we learning? What's happening there with thoughts? When we just directly look at what's happening when thinking is going on, what happens? They're not as crazy, they're not as strong, they're not as um, substantial. And so a direct look is like that. It is looking directly at really what is happening in experience. Now, I know that might sound spooky, and I have to reiterate, it's okay if this doesn't work out for you. This is not something that you need to learn. This is not something that is necessary, even. What matters here is that you just trust the process. And it is okay if you don't understand. You're not supposed to understand every single day. It's not supposed to click with you every day. That's why it is a practice. So I just need to make that clear. But yeah, so please find yourself a comfortable position, a comfortable and sturdy position, and let's get started. Take a few moments and bring your attention to the breath. Just notice the in and out sensations of breathing. And as you notice the breath, remember that we're not seeking, we're not gaining, we're not achieving. We're just becoming clear about experience. And even that is saying too much. With the breath, in and out. And when you notice that you're lost in thought, just come back to the breath, in and out. Come back. Come back to the breath. Are you aware right now? Seems like a silly question, doesn't it? Because the answer is so obvious. Where did you have to go, however, to know that you are aware? Now, if you try to think about this question, if you try to understand it by maybe think you can read it in a book or put it down in your journal, You won't see it because it is so obvious. It is so close that any kind of trying to figure it out misses it. So I ask you again, are you aware right now? How do you know? Stay there. Notice how there's really nowhere to go, no shift to make, and really nowhere to look to know that you are aware. It is so obvious. And notice how the effort it takes to be aware isn't really there. Do you have to try to be aware right now? Or does it just happen all by itself? Are you aware right now? Where did you have to go? How do you know? Stay there. Stay there and completely rest. All right, you can look at the screen. And I'm sure you, if you're in these circles or if you're not, you may have heard people talk about awareness, meditation, the spiritual community talk a lot about awareness, talk a lot about its power or its divinity, or, it's actually not so distant. It's not so esoteric and special, because I can just ask, right? It's so simple. I can ask, "Are you aware right now?" And immediately it's like, "Well, yeah." Like, it's so silly and so obvious that it just doesn't even make sense to ask, right? So there's a knowing, there's an awareness of being aware. There's just this, and we know it without thinking about it, without talking about it, without having to write it down, without even naming what it is. Here you are. And that is it, which is saying too much. Because, of course, saying that is it is an idea, conceptual, when awareness happens before those words, right? There's nothing you can do, you're just aware. Before I even say that, it's true. Before this next thought arises, you're aware. It's just that simple. And it's actually not that special. It's the same awareness that goes to the bank, that takes the kids to school, that decided to start a meditation practice. It's that same thing. And it hasn't changed, has it, since you were a child? When has this just awakeness, this awareness, this beingness ever changed? The person may have changed. Your age, your story, your life, that may have changed, but the moment here-ness. And it's so obvious. It is so obvious that we miss it. It's like a really good example. I think Sam Harris made this great example. It's kind of like I tell you that, oh, if you want to kind of solve your problems, just look through this window. Just look at the window, it's there. So you go up to the window and you look, and you're looking out the window, looking at the trees and the birds and people walking and different things moving. You're like, I see all these objects. What are you talking about? There's just stuff. There's the world. What do you mean? And when I'm like, no, 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 you're looking past yourself. You're looking past it. What do you mean I'm looking past it? There's trees, there's cars, this is all I can see. What are you talking about? And the role, of course, of a teacher is to go up to the glass and go, king, 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 right here, look here. Because through looking outside, you're looking through your reflection that's reflected on, of course, the window. And it's always, you can't get away from it. It's always there. In fact, without that window, there would be no outside in a way, right? There would be no ability to see outside. And it's the same thing here. Another good example is a screen on a TV. You got a big screen TV. You can watch fire, you can watch water, you can watch people getting shot, you can watch crazy things happening, but none of it touches the screen. The screen allows all that stuff to go on, but no color, no fire burns the screen. And it's so simple. It's so simple that you know it. And I know you know it. Are you aware? And if you just stay there, that is you. Not the story, not the problems, not the worries, not the me, not the I. That is you. So I hope that made some sense. Tomorrow we're going to work this a little bit differently. So if you have any questions, tell me your experience in the comments below. Please ask your questions in the comments below, and I'll be here for you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your awareness. And as always, we'll see you tomorrow for day 16.